Holy moly. Yeah, I can hear myself coming back.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
It's
Every
like the old
time.
days. Here we go.
Every time,
Boom.
man.
It's Wednesday. The first Wednesday of the month, September 6th, 2023. And I'm here with my good friends, Caleb Pike and Ben Barden. And this is what we call Camera and Flask. It's been a minute, hasn't it, gentlemen?
Oh my goodness. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Months.
Way too long. Brandon, I'm getting the reference over there. I appreciate it. So it's great to see both of you and whoever else is here in the chat right now. Was it June that we did this last? I cannot remember.
It must be.
It must be. It's got to be.
Yeah. It's been a really long time.
I think the only way we resolve this is by having a drink. Leaded or unleaded is okay in this show, but I'm going leaded today. Who's first? Ben? You? Should we do it? Or should we do...
Yeah. Okay.
Yes? Okay.
Well, I have it right. So this is some really terrible wine I bought in the supermarket the other day, and it's awful. So I'm gonna.
No.
Wait, why are you drinking it? Why?
Because I haven't got anything else in. I've been in. I'll come to what I've been doing today. But yeah, this is all I have in the house right now. That's kind of
okay.
So this is what I'm on. Yeah.
I think your levels need to come up if you can. Just about 3-4 dB. You're a little low.
You really want to start tempting.
No.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
not. No. I just want to make sure everybody can hear you. So okay,
Well,
that's
I don't
good.
know. So
all
I'm kind of peaking at like -6, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're all right.
I'm
You're all
going
right.
hard than that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just speak up a
Okay,
bit.
good.
I'm quiet. I'm very tired. That's all it is.
Oh no, it's all right. And I'm all right. Let's go. Caleb, let's go. You're up.
Okay. I forgot to bring a drink from the house. There's really not anything at the house. So, scoring another Prairie Street IPA.
All these amazing
again.
labels.
Beautiful cans.
They always
Thank
are.
you. Yeah, this one's like pearlescent. I don't know if you can see that.
No, it looks
change
very
the
nice.
angle.
Yeah.
The green on like the feathers kind of change. So it's a lot like a car, like a pearlescent finish on a car, which is kind of cool. Oh
Nice.
man, but I'm excited to be here, so I'm gonna crack that open.
Good. And I am going to have this from Italy, as they say. This is a grappa. So I've got the grappa glass, and if you don't know what grappa is, it's made from all the leftovers of everything. So it's the stems and the seeds and the skins, and they distill that. And most of the time, like if you get the one that's made here in Oregon by a company, it tastes like utter crap. But in Italy, they know how to make grappa. And so I got this at the duty free when I left. It's exceptional. Gentlemen, great to see you. Ben, we got to get a better drink for you next time. And I know you're tired, but we're going to power through this, and it's great to see you. Cheers to everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
All right. Hasn't gotten any better since you opened it, has it, Ben?
Whoa.
It has actually.
Oh, it has?
Oh.
All right.
I find red wines often like that. It softens.
Interesting.
Over a day since I last opened it.
All right, good.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just in my palate's a little less picky tonight.
All right. Well, good. All right. So, first of all, welcome to everybody here in the chat. Feel free to always put questions with an @the_C47 if you want to chat about something like new equipment that's been announced, or just have a general question for the three of us, one in particular or all of us, related to production and all of that good stuff. Some shout outs here. Who do we have in here? Some of the regular crew at least is showing up in the chat. There's more people than that, but Thaddeus is here, Brandon. We've got Sam and Bill. So welcome, and to everybody else. And I don't know where we start because it's been so long since we've done this. We got to get back
I've seen
into
you
the
in
groove.
person more recently than we've done this.
100%.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're
Because
Twice,
Ben came up.
twice this year.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
twice.
Ben,
Because did you guys hang out while Jem was over there?
yeah, Ben drove up to Scotland and we
Oh,
did this.
nice.
We had this one, I would actually call it a perfect day. We had this perfect Scottish weather day. It was the only one we had the whole time we were there. And we had a lot of family and friends come over, and I think we ate some good food and we all hung out. It was really lovely. Very nice. Very nice
It was
day.
a beautiful afternoon. It was.
It was good. But yes, I do think it's been like the beginning of June since we've done this, which means it's been like a quarter of a year. It's unbelievable, right?
It's
July,
insane.
August, September. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be back. What have you been up to, Caleb? Tell us a little bit about sort of your I guess newish venture that you're into now. You and I have spoken about it. Your kind of new company and what you're doing. I'm excited about it.
Right. Yeah, so I'm kind of mixing things up, still doing the channel and everything, but started a second company last year, and now it's actually in the air, as it were. So it's called Camera Foundry. Go to camerafoundry.com, check it out. But it's essentially small batch 3D printing manufacturing. So I've got, I don't know, 6 little products up there. And the latest one, really excited about, it's called the Cineback. So it's like a 3D printed parts mixed with cheese plates to create essentially like a Red Komodo style body, but you just slap a mirrorless camera in there. And it gives you a lot of rigging functionality. So working on multiple versions of that for different cameras, just because that's what I love about all these crazy little cameras going out, is they're like tiny sensors in a box. So you just pick your sensor, and this thing allows you to V-mount power the whole thing with a fan and some other stuff. So yeah, that's been fun. Got some other stuff. Any guesses what that could be? But that's a prototype we're working on. Okay. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, so messing around with that.
You're not actually going to tell us what that is. You're just going to tease with that and then go, no, I'm not actually going to explain.
Nope.
It's actually video. You put 4 together, and it's it's an SSD sled.
Nice.
For
cool.
Another project that's coming up. So yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
so
having
cool.
a lot of fun with that. Kind of trying to diversify a little bit, so it's not all the YouTube stuff. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, like shipping things and everything, and I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. Yeah. But having a lot of fun with it. Meeting a lot of interesting people. A lot of people are messaging me other companies. So that's been kind of cool to like interact with people through that, not just as a guy making YouTube videos, but on the kind of manufacturing front. So that's been kind of fun.
That's great. Super
cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Ben? What have you been up to over the last couple of months? What have you been doing?
I was in the UK when I saw you, it was July, wasn't it? So we were there. And then I've had this massive edit backlog, which has taken me more or less until now to get through. So that we had a week away. We were in Croatia for a week, which was very nice with the family before the kids went back to school. So that's all go this week. And then I've been in Brno, which is the Czech Republic's second city, which is about 2 hours from here, which is beautiful. And my wife was at a conference there today, so I went down with her. I spent the day there. Weather's beautiful, really nice. And then I'm off to the UK next week. I'm doing lots of wind farms and a really exciting little film in Scotland. So I'm way up in north Scotland next week, and then in Holland for a week, then back to England for a week. Then busy. offshore wind farms.
That's great.
Yeah, really.
Nice.
It's kind of like summer's always slightly quiet, sort of second half of July and August, and then and then you get panicky and you go, that's it, it's never coming back. And then always the last week in August, and everyone realizes they got to go back to work at the beginning of September, and it all goes mad again. So yeah, all pretty good at the moment, I would say. What are you up to, Jem?
Psychotically started the daily series again, so I'm in week 3. Yeah.
So, what the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly, why
Well,
a
a lot of
daily
things are
again?
wrong with me. You
No,
know,
specifically to do with that, like this masochistic streak that you have. You
it's
go,
good. It's good for my
you commit to
soul.
the week. It's in.
No, it is. It is good for me. I've talked about it a little bit, but it creatively, the hardest part is starting. I don't know how long I'm going to do it, but it's really good. And at the moment, like you, it's it has been quiet. It's starting to pick up again, and I've just wanted to do it for a while, and I kept going back and forth, and I finally just decided I'm going for it, and so I'm doing it. And to be honest with
I'm
you,
enjoying them.
no, it makes you realize how much time you are potentially wasting every day because, I'm filling all that wasted time by actually doing stuff and creating things, and it's good
Mhm.
for me. So ultimately, no regrets so far. I mean, I'm in week 3, so it's early days, but when we're done with Camera Flask, I'm going to shoot another episode and I'm going to post it. And then I've got one more for the end of the week that I'll do probably tomorrow. If the sun's out, I know what I'm going to do. But every day I have an idea of what I'm going to do. Sometimes I change my mind at the last second, or I'm trying to do it and it's just not working out time wise. So I push it for another episode, and I'm having fun. So that's it. And then I've
So
got a couple of
I
projects
have
on the way.
I have serious questions about this as well, then,
Oh boy.
as ridiculing your masochistic streak for going at this sort of daily. So I'm
Yep.
enjoying them, and I like the kind of short form content of it. It's really good, and that bite sized thing.
Yep.
And your socials are working really well because it's keeping me. I'm not missing
Sort
them.
of. Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like every day I'm getting a little bit of gem going. Oh, come watch my video, and it's
Oh
working.
God, help you. Yeah. Well,
How
I don't
far?
know. We'll see. Huh? What were we gonna say?
It's working, and but I was going to ask, like, how, given that this is daily, and I've
Mm.
always been, even with you, Caleb, that sort of how you're planning that out in terms of, you know, keeping the ideas going. But daily, that's a serious thing. As to so how far in advance you're saying now that you know what you're doing today, tomorrow, if the weather's good. How far ahead
Not
of
far.
yourself are you in terms of planning?
Nope. Not far. I mean, I had this really great idea the week before I launched that I was going to be 5 episodes ahead all the time, and then all just went to crap. And now I'm just shooting for the next day. So I basically do either Friday for Monday or Sunday for Monday, and then it's just the day before. So when Thursday rolls around, I'm hopefully shooting the Friday episode. It's posting, and then I'm not shooting anything Friday and Saturday. Um, and I don't know. There's a lot of things going on in my head about what I do. I'm still toying with this idea of how, when I'm creating these episodes, can I create some content that's less of a promo saying, here's today's episode, and I actually have a short, that might be on Reels or YouTube Shorts. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. But I'm going to just keep doing it. And it feels very much like Gearbox, which I did over a decade ago, in the sense
Right.
that, it's very different in the sense that back then, a lot of the things that I was talking about were new to everybody. A lot of people were making transitions from, into using DSLRs at the time. We didn't have a lot of options in terms of what was available to us. So when I was sourcing something for a rig or a filter or something else, there might have been 1 or 2 options out there. There wasn't a lot there. It's just ridiculous what exists now, what I have, and also how educated people are. So, I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. And I don't know how successful I'll be at doing it, but I do want to make sure that the content that I'm creating isn't like everybody else's content. And I think that's easy because, everybody has their own voice, and that's, but it's not about reviews and it's not about that kind of stuff. But today I think I'm going to do a timely one. B&H turned 50 and I'm an affiliate, and they listed about 100 products, and I found 5 of them that I thought might be interesting. So I might just shoot a timely episode, but most of the time I don't want to do that. So I don't know. And, we've got lots of new stuff coming out. Look at all the cameras that have dropped recently, especially from Sony. They're about to announce another Cine camera next week
I
that now
know,
has
it's
a name.
crazy.
It's insane what's
Yeah.
going on. It looks like Ari's, from what I can tell, based on the little promo, September 13th. I think I'm not privy to anything. I'm not under any NDA, so I can say whatever I want. I think we're getting Sky Panels too. That's my guess. I might be wrong. Nanlite just released new lights today. They have a new 500 bicolor light. It's $699 for a 500 bicolor. That's crazy. I mean, like, if you look at the difference between their next 500 watt, Forza 500 B2, the price difference is enormous. And I can't imagine it's going to be horrible in terms of quality of light. And it's $699 for a 500 watt bicolor light. It's just, the market is crazy, right? It's insane what's happening right now.
It's silly, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Burano, that's right, Phil. That's what it's called. Those new primes that were just released, were they the Cook
Pancros.
ones? Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the
insane.
Cooks, yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And then you got the DZO film, that zoom, which none of these things are super inexpensive, but there's just huge shifts happening right now.
Huge shifts.
Kind of crazy.
My next video is the Nisi primes.
Mm-hmm.
The Athena lenses, and they're so much better than all the budget. We've been in this like budget cinema lens thing where it's like, okay, you got the Vespid primes and the Mikey lenses, but these are like a whole nother level, but cheaper even. It's like $1,000 a lens, and they're really, really good. So a lot of the other ones, they're like, oh, it's a vintage look, and that they're selling it like that's a good thing, but they're just slightly bad lenses.
Yeah, as in,
yeah. It has character.
They're kind of crappy lenses that they have character. Yeah, exactly. Whereas these are actually good. So they kind of remind me of like a tiny version of the CP3s. The way they feel, the way they operate, the lack of chromatic aberration. So I haven't done the full final testing, but all that being already, they're like just so much nicer.
So what have they got in that lineup in terms of focal lengths and how fast?
So 14, almost pretty much zero distortion.
On a 2.8.
14, 25. So it's essentially a 2.8 T29 maybe, or 2.1 T21. The rest are T19.
Fast. Okay.
Yeah, the rest are T19, so like a 1.8. So the rest, you got 25, 35, 50, and 85. And I've been told next NAB they're going to have a 135.
And what's the cost?
All of them are
per lens, not as a set?
Around $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's starting to become this new sweet spot, is this $1,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mount wise, you got I got the PL set.
Okay.
It's the style where like half the lens is in the PL adapter, if you will. So once they're on a PL camera, they look just ridiculously small. But you can also get them in mirrorless mounts, and they'll have a little slide-in filter tray, so you can add NDs, polarizers, faders, as well as streak filters, mist filters, and then the PL ones they screw on the back. Yeah. So essentially, the PL ones you can thread on a little adapter, a round one. And then the mirrorless mounts, so ELRF, it'll have a little slot where you can slide in a filter. And you can get a clear one as well.
Nice.
And then I guess they also are going to announce at IBC that they'll have no mirror mounts. So if you just want a weather sealed, really nice weather sealed mount, and you don't want to mess with the filters, you can do that too. So, yeah, between that and the Laowa Rangers, it's ridiculous now. Like those Rangers are just barely heavier than the Fujinon zooms, but full frame.
It's really interesting with Nisi, DZO, and Laowa. I mean, there's a few of these companies now which are starting to be it's kind of what's happened over the last few years with the lighting companies. There's been an acceptance of a brand that's not American or German or Japanese, that could be a legitimate brand that people will start using in real production. I think Laowa
Right.
really crossed the line when they came out with their last probe lens, because you can see that it's been happening, but people are using that probe lens on big boy cameras. It's not just
There's nothing
okay,
else like it, is there? It's a completely unique product, that thing.
for the most part, yes. Yeah, I think it's so it's just a shift. I mean, we're seeing big shifts. Aperture just bought ProLight. That's a shift, starting the
Yep.
consolidation. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I was going to say, with those, so that kind of 1,000-ish sweet spot that we're talking about, and for mirrorless cameras, so those Cooks, those SP3 Speak Pancros, they're really interesting to me. Love those lenses. Use them on Alexa. Not those lenses, obviously, but the big boy ones.
Yeah.
The cost of these for mirrorless, I'm really intrigued to see what their market is like, because those are like $4,500, $5,000 a pop.
4.5 each.
Yeah,
and I think it's like
third,
20.
Right?
Yeah. And
yeah,
they're not
third, but yeah. Right.
Not that fast, those lenses. So beautiful, would love. But I'm wondering who's buying those in that map, because if you're
I don't
in
know.
the market for those kind of lenses, you're going to be on the PLs, and you're going to be using them on. I don't know. To me, they obviously know what they're doing, and they've got the market sorted out. It just seems to me a slightly odd place in the market, really.
Well, I think Well, I give you my thoughts. I think they're going to sell enough of them at $4,500 because the market are people who are using mirrorless cameras as B and C cameras on television and films and commercials. And so they have to price it 4 to 5 times what these $1,000 lenses are going to be, partially because of the brand and the name, but partially because they know they're not going to sell as many of those as they'll sell the Nisi. Nisi's going to sell theirs, or Laowa's going to sell theirs. And so I just think it's a different market. And then there will be some people who are filmmakers who are using these smaller cameras. But think about it. They're talking about mirrorless. Every camera is a mirrorless camera. But these are going to be on FX6s, and they're going to be on Buranos and C300 Mark IIIs, and they're going to be on, all of the digital cinema cameras as well, for the most part, until you get up probably into that higher end Venice, 2 and Alexa kind of market, is my guess. Overall, because they're
that
going,
makes a lot of sense, actually.
RF E mount are going to be the two most popular mounts, and you're going to have people who are going to be using them on Komodos and all of that stuff as well. I mean, I think it's a perfect match for that, and to them, to those owners, that's they drop $22,000, and then they have a rental package. I don't know, it might make sense.
So no, I see it as a rental package, actually.
Huh?
Do you think?
Oh,
What'd you say? Yeah, they're going to sell those things.
Are going to own these. Yeah, it's $21,000 for 5 lenses from Cook.
For Cooks. I mean, you got 5 lenses from Cook.
Kids are going to run out and be picking those up.
Yeah, you want to rent my you want to rent my FX9 with 5 Cook lenses? I mean, that's your package.
Yeah,
right there.
and I mean, people are dropping insane amounts of money on gear, but bodies and lenses, and again, like the fact that they're Cook, it'd be one thing if they were somebody else, but like these are Cook lenses.
Yeah.
If you watch CVP's video, you can get a good idea for what they look like, and they really do look amazing when you just point out just about anything. They just look amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jem, Ben, can you say something? Audio test.
Yeah. Hello, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, weird. Every other second, you guys cut out for me.
I do.
Every 3 seconds, there's like a blip,
I'm cutting out.
Blip.
Well,
blip.
let's ask you, because we've kind of been ignoring the chat a little bit. Would love to hear,
up, David, by the way, Colin,
if there's any issues
Phil,
for
James.
people on that side. Yeah, and we've got some great comments here, and a couple of them are talking about LiDAR. And I think that
Yeah,
that's important to discuss because, look, the AF
it is.
systems, right now I'm testing the FX30. I'm blown away by Sony's AF. I mean, it's just kind of like, in fact, in some ways, my feeling is like to get the daily drop done on the mirrorless camera every day makes it so much easier when you have an AF system like that, because I can just set stuff up, I can move around, and it just does what it's supposed to do. Let's just be honest about it, So, but when people want to invest in these cinema primes that are cost effective, $1,000 to $5,000 each, I think LiDAR is going to be important for for those solo operators and those smaller crews as well, because not everybody's going to go out, even if it's inexpensive, and get the Tilta system and set up a wireless follow focus system, or do that kind of stuff, or whatever they're going to do. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting some comments about
I
the audio. Sorry, hold on. It says your sync might be a little bit out, Caleb. Do you want to go pop out and come back in? Are you just playing around now? I can't hear you anymore, Caleb. Are you just messing around? Yeah, you are. Bingo. What were you going to say, Ben?
I can't remember. I think
The LiDAR
about
thing.
the LiDAR
No.
thing.
Yeah.
You see, I still think that I agree with you in terms of that rental houses, it's a good thing. So if you're using kind of smaller cams, crash cams, and you're needing everything to match up with your big set of cooks, the cooks particularly is what I'm talking about, because I'm really I don't know. It's got me thinking about it at that price point, because it's the first thing I've seen at that kind of money.
Yeah.
For those kind of form factor of lenses. So I can see that as rental houses. I know Caleb was saying that he thought a load of people are going to go out and buy.
I don't know what's going on here. Can everybody hear what's happening? Ecamm Live's being weird. Ben, are you there? Can you hear me, Ben? Very strange. Okay, hold on. Can everybody hear? Ben, why don't you jump out if you can hear me? Come back in. Let me know if you can hear me over here, and then I'll just start pulling up some comments. I don't know what's going on with the interwebs today. Ben and Caleb are gone. Temporarily, we hope. They've kind of jumped off. Caleb did it on purpose because there was some audio issues. And then Ben's coming back. Let's see what happens. I can't hear you, Ben. Let's see if we can see you. I don't see you either. I've assigned you. What is going on? Ben, guest 2. There we go. Okay. All right. Are you here, Ben?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. And Thaddeus can hear me. We see and hear you, Jeff. It's like the old days, practically. I don't know what's going on with Caleb. He's checking some things out. It's all okay. Yeah, it's 2019
tonight is just
again,
a
David says.
clusterfuck of technical issues. 10 minutes before we started tonight,
Yeah.
I live in a little village, and the way our internet gets into the house, it's like a Wi-Fi thing that is broadcast from an antenna in the middle of the village and goes out to the houses. We had a power cut for like 2 seconds, but it knocks the transmitter off, and it takes like an hour to come on. So I've been going around the house trying to find somewhere where my mobile phone will get good enough reception, and it seems to be working all right, but it's just then being one thing after another. It's
Yeah. When you jump back on just
tonight.
now, you were a little jittery, and then now you've sort of settled in, and all is good. All right. Well, let's, while we're waiting for Caleb to come back. Oh, speak of the devil. Well, he's not the devil. He's Caleb, but there he is. Assigning to 1, Caleb. Let's see what happens if I go to the 4-up. Caleb. Hello? I can't hear you. I think what I'll do is I'll go to a 2-up with me and Ben. Can you hear us? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Can you hear us? You can't hear us? All right. I'm going to go 2-up, and then you can try to. Guest has muted themselves. Oh, hold on. You keep talking, Ben. You're up.
All right. What were we talking about before all the techie stuff went wrong?
LiDAR. Let's go LiDAR.
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out to Caleb for a second. Maybe pull some of the comments and deal with those. Now I'm literally gonna be like 1 second.
I've lost all the comments because I went out and came back in, so because I'm not viewing it on YouTube anyway.
Okay.
All
right. So I'll give you one here. Yeah, I'll give you one here. So so somebody brought up some stuff for announcements here. So it looks like Phil's excited about new products at IBC. New Panasonic S1H Mark II. Don't know much about that. Somebody said something. Colin said Panasonic's teasing a new G camera this morning. I didn't see anything related to that. And then there's this Sony Cine camera. So let's see while I pull Caleb back in if we can get him.
All right.
Assigned.
Well, you talk about that. I'm gonna also ask for the chat. Is anyone going to IBC this year? The reason I ask is that I was talking to a friend of the show, Billy Campbell, a couple of weeks ago, and we were discussing whether or not to go. I'm actually in Amsterdam on a job that week. So I was thinking, seeing as client is at least covering all my travel, that I might go. But the cost of accommodation in Amsterdam that week is now insane. It's cheaper to go to NAB, even flying from Europe, than it is to go to IBC. It's just insane. So interested to hear if anyone's actually taking the plunge and going this year. I haven't been for, I don't know, it's probably 8 or 9 years since I've done IBC. Always enjoyed it as a show, but it's just got too much, way too much. All
right, we're gonna give this one more shot. Caleb, do you have audio? Oh, I can hear you.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
All right, Ecamm's wigging out then. Different browser.
God.
Nothing else has changed. It's better.
Okay.
Oh,
so
that was weird. I was like muted unless that was you muting me. I had a mute symbol over myself.
No, and earlier before you jumped out last time. Yeah. So
I couldn't turn it off.
Maybe they're hacking.
There's a mute logo over my face, and if I hit mute, another one showed up. So
in your browser? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
so anyway.
Colin said he had issues with Ecamm the other day. I subscribed to
Speedify.
You don't have to pay for it
on a subscription.
Yeah. So I had a redundant internet connection via my phone USB. All right. There we go. I don't know if the Sony Cine camera has to be an FX9 Mark II because they're giving it a name. So I think it's a new camera.
I think it's a new camera.
Yeah.
Because it's named after an island just off Venice, I believe.
Interesting. I think it's a Komodo style camera. I think they want a piece of that action.
But where did they price it?
Oh, what?
Where did they price it?
Maybe 10.
Because you've
799 to 10.
But less than an FX9?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then what happens to the FX9? Bye-bye?
Nothing.
Not bye-bye, but
no.
But price-wise,
everyone
they just drop
doing
the price.
television will still use the FX9. But this will be like, there's this, like, Red created this weird little pocket where you've got the broadcasty people doing FX9s. You've got people running around with FX6s, which is still kind of a broadcast television, lightweight situation. But the Red Komodo X is this weird, like, cinema, but not Venice. It's like smaller, lighter, faster, but it's still a box camera. It still has all the features that everyone wants for cinema. So I think I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, of course.
Yeah.
It's just a small, boxy camera.
You think they'll put their AF in there?
Away. I have no idea. They probably don't need to, but
yeah.
You don't think they do?
Because it depends on what mounts. If it's Cine Alta, will it be FZ or whatever? What is their current mount on the?
Oh yeah.
Venice?
Not E mount.
Yeah.
I think it'll be E mount if they're going in down that form factor.
Yeah, that makes sense if they're going that
competing
way.
against the kimono. Yeah,
And if
totally
they put
sense.
the AF
and
in, then it is.
It beats it hands down, and it's in that whole Sony world.
And it'll have ND built in. But I actually took a screenshot of it and brought it into some I think just preview on the Mac, and then just grabbed the curves and tried to bring up the brightness because they have a little teaser video out.
Yeah.
And you can see it's a box with a top handle.
Yep.
And a viewfinder. So I don't know if that means anything or nothing.
Yeah,
I
hope Canon comes out with something too. No, and I hope Canon comes out with something soon as well.
Yeah,
but I'm not aware of
Canon,
anything.
It's been pretty quiet.
It's been pretty.
I mean, we've talked about this, but I feel like the C500 should have been a slam dunk. But I don't see that camera anywhere. Like, is that a thing?
They have always had.
I've never seen that on the street ever. And I see tons of FX cameras.
There was a point in time. Remember, I think it was the original C300 came out, and it was $15,999. I think was the street price in US dollars, and then they did that with the Mark II, but then they had the 700, and that was a great camera, but it was long, and they didn't sell very many of those that I'm aware of, and then they came out with the C500 Mark I. And then the Mark II, but they had already settled on this $10,000 price point with sort of the C300 line. And I just think they're having a really tough time, as is Sony, until you jump to the Venice. Anything above that $10,999 is a really hard place to jump from. So if this new Sony camera is priced between 15 and 20, I think it's going to be a hard sell for people at this point. So I'm really interested to see where they price it. Sony is ridiculous right now in the $5,000 and less category. The number of cameras they're selling now is it's way too many, and it's getting really confusing. And I know they're trying to satisfy all of these different markets, but I have one opinion that I'm going to stick to right now, unless there's even a third-party solution that is rock solid. If the camera overheats, I don't want to know about it in my world. And so, I got the A6700. I had it hooked up like this, and I was on a Zoom call with somebody, and the camera died like 3 times. And that was just USB-C at 24 with HDMI. And then this FX30 has, it'll just keep going forever because it's got a fan in it. You got R5C has a fan in it. FX3 has a fan in it. So I'm really intrigued by a ZVE1, but I know the way I use the camera, it's probably going to overheat, not even from high speed, So I don't know. I don't know what you think about that.
The 6700 is the worst performing modern camera. That said, did you update the firmware?
It's just what it came with, so I didn't.
Okay, so there's a firmware out there that is apparently just solving issues for people.
Okay, but what do you think of? Because you talked about the A7C2, Caleb. I mean, do you think that camera?
With it.
Okay,
but some people had issues with the A6700, others didn't. So,
yep,
it's hard to tell. We'll see what happens when these cameras ship, but yeah, I don't think I had no issues.
It's big of a deal. Okay, all right. What were you gonna say, Ben? And then let's jump into the chat. Okay, let's jump into the chat. We have not a lot of interaction with everybody.
If you want a C700 on eBay, I just looked it up.
Oh, really? How much is the C500 Mark II going for? I mean, I know it's a brand new product, but
that's good. C500 Mark II. Well, that's getting up there now, right?
Yeah.
What has that been? 5 years almost?
Maybe 4.
Must be
4 to 5 years. I mean, C70 I think is 2 years old, right? 2 years plus.
Here's one for $8,000, body only, $7,500.
That's great. That's a fantastic camera.
Wow.
C500 Mark II.
$7,500.
That's a killer
which is
camera.
really good.
Really good. I mean, that's
Full
a
frame with
great
all
camera.
That other yummy.
Yeah. That's a killer camera.
Full kit with everything and 3 batteries, $8,000.
That's a phenomenal.
Monitor,
I mean,
everything.
There's nothing wrong with the sensor on that camera. It does full anamorphic, all the stuff. It's full frame. I mean, that's probably one of your best deals in a full frame digital cinema camera. I know it's a used one, but that's a lot of camera.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So let's get some chat going for the last 15 with the crew. What do you have questions for? For people. Let's throw some stuff out in the chat.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we go on to the chat, something occurred to me that when Rode announced the video,
Wireless Pro, yeah.
Wireless Pro.
Wireless Pro, yeah.
Do you think we'll get royalties given that we told them exactly the spec that they needed to do to that, and they just built it? I mean, they've clearly been watching us. They've been sitting around going, where do we go from here? I don't know. We feel like we've reached a dead end. They watched the show. They watched the episode. They listened to us exactly, and they've put all of that into that one product. I'm wondering when our royalties are coming.
I agree.
It's
we should go on strike. You want to go on strike?
What we said.
Everybody else is, Ben.
Gosh.
We can go on strike. Unbelievable.
If they do take the idea I mentioned in my video on the kit, if they take that and do it and I don't get anything, I'm going to start throwing things around.
You should.
The Rode Wireless Code little box, time code only, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
should have us, fly us all to Australia, all 4 of us.
We should all go. We should all 3.
And then sit us down and we can tell them about time code, and if they feel like it, carts. And it'll be great.
I think all 6 of us actually, meaning all of us and our wives. And we should all go for, and I would say 13 nights. We'll do a 14-day trip, and we'll just go hang out. We need a few days in Melbourne anyway. I think that's going to have to happen. So I'd be down for that. They are
sure.
They're working hard over there in Sydney.
Yeah.
Rode is really, I mean, they're not resting at all. There's a lot of stuff in that company happening.
And again, that's all Caleb's fault. That when he made that video, whenever it was those years ago, and he just kind of cut them off.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They were like, oh shit, we pissed him off. We're gonna have to make amends here. They owe you everything, Caleb.
100%, because they had a meeting that next morning, and they're like, "Oh shit, we better get our shit together," and then that was the beginning of the transition, right? They're like, "Forget the film contest. We need to start making better." No,
I think they saw less golden circles and red on YouTube, and they started seeing a lot of yellow. And they started to kind of get freaked out.
Yes.
I.e. deity.
Yeah.
And man, deity, I feel so bad for the guys. Like, they come out with their little wireless thing that has everything. It has 32-bit float. And then Rode drops the Wireless Pro like a week later.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
rough.
and it's interesting.
And they're very different price points, so.
Yeah, and they're very different products too. In all fairness,
I
mean, they are very different products. One is frequency based in the traditional sense, and one isn't.
Very true.
And they're trying to, I think, go after that, Sennheiser, Sony, UWP, Sennheiser G3, G4 kind of business, and that's a different market. If they can push into that market and get some of the broadcasts and things like that, then it makes sense. But the market is much bigger for Rode's audience. I mean, they're going after a much, much larger potential audience. So I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Blackmagic, because we haven't been talking about them recently, but they seem like they're overdue for a camera. I just it all goes back to Panasonic, Fuji, Blackmagic. Can they step up their AF game, because it's starting to just become a real requirement, I think, in these cameras to have really strong AF. And we see what the potential of it is, in certain types of production, it just makes so much sense to have rock solid AF system. And, you clearly have Sony ahead of the pack right now, Canon, behind, but still solid. And then, everybody else is just trailing miserably at the moment.
Question for you, Jem. I know we're
going
to jump at the chat here, and
Yep.
I like Collins. You could see Rode, Miller, Black, and Black Magic while in Australia.
That's right.
That would be amazing.
Will you be switching anytime soon?
I don't think I'm.
Sony,
it's good.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not about switching. I think that it's application. Like there's so much I'm in love with about the Fuji X, H2S. If that camera had good autofocus, it would just be, for what I'm doing right now, fantastic for that kind of stuff. Right. I think that the R5C might be the best hybrid camera out there, 8K, the feature set, everything else. And then I have my favorites when it comes to digital cinema cameras. But I will say that for the type of content that I'm doing right now on a regular basis, and for people who are doing content like this, it's really hard to argue, both in terms of price of entry and in terms of feature set, with what Sony's doing right now. I mean, at under $2,000 and considerably under $2,000 US, the FX30 it's a hell of a camera, and that's not even a brand new camera. I mean, you look at what they're going to do. So, if I'm recommending cameras to people, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of content they're creating and what they're doing. But it's kind of crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
I would
Sorry.
say Sony have. We've had this discussion before, but if you're starting afresh, you have nothing. You're going into this beginning. You're going Sony. There's no question that's the route to go down, in my mind. I mean, I love Canon, cheap Canon, always have done. Been away from them, come back to them. But right now, Sony's. If you're starting afresh, you've just got pockets full of money. You're going to start a new business. You're kitting up from ground up. I don't think I can't think for any application that Sony wouldn't be the route that you would take right now. From anything from like low to mid end.
Do what you do. I don't care. I was just curious because you've been on the Fuji train for a while. From the content, I hate to say content creator, but from a more rapid, smaller production stuff you've been doing Sony for a while. So I was just curious what your thoughts were.
Well, I think it's Sony for that. I mean, I'm not sitting here with money. So right now I've got one on loaner that I'm using.
Stuff.
Yeah. But I will tell you, once you experience an AF system like that for this type of content, when you're doing, sort of cranking out content that's short form on a regular basis, and you're doing it by yourself, you really need a good AF system. And I can't tell you how many times I've, had to redo takes or check things when the AF isn't reliable. And it's the first first cameras I have used where it is consistently reliable, unless you activate the tracking feature by accident, and then you kind of screwed if you don't deactivate it. And even that is amazingly solid. And that 18-50 contemporary Sigma lens is bonkers. And they make it for other mounts as well. But that is kind of a killer combo, are these little APS-C cameras with that Sigma lens. And you're getting a lot of value. So, it's pretty impressive, I have to say. Wish they had ProRes in there, but, I have a new MacBook Pro, so it's not having any issues with these codecs, in these formats. So it's good. Yeah.
On that, just a quick question for Caleb. What did you do with your Mac Studio? Did you return it from the M1?
I did.
You did?
A bunch of fuss with B&H, but essentially I paid a restocking fee.
Yep.
And then they took it back. And I have a M2 Ultra right over here, studio.
Ooh,
And
the
yeah, it's
Ultra,
been crushing
nice.
it. I switched completely to H.265 for our workflow, which means on a crappy, cheap Transcend 64 gig card, I can do like 2.5 hours or something.
I know.
On my
It's
Sony
insane.
cameras, 10-bit, all that stuff, and the computer, it acts like I'm editing ProRes LT. So
Yeah.
it's been amazing.
And don't you think, Caleb, that the shift, the other big shift that's happened over the last couple of years, pretty much across the boards, is 10-bit 422, and that's been a game changer when it comes to these mirrorless
That's why I
cameras as
switched
well.
to Sony. I was a Panasonic boy, and then when the A7S III came out, I started making the switch back over, just because that was the only thing I had issue-wise with them. I love the A7 III, but I just couldn't get over that garbage 8-bit stuff. And Jem and I have spoken for hours about all the Sony shenanigans. But now it's great. And every camera, that one was kind of weird. It was like green skin and stuff, but it was 10-bit, so you could fix it. But ever since then, they've really dialed that in. So now you have an infinite supply of options. The A6700 all the way up to the FX3, FX6, 9.
And 10-bit
That was
422
always
seems to
Sony's
be
thing.
across. Yeah, but it seems to be across the boards with most of, or all of the manufacturers now. So you just have to figure out what is it. You know, like Fuji's got 3.2 open gate and 6.2K, and they've got ProRes in there, and that's pretty great. And then Canon's got 8K and in that hybrid body of the R5C, and it's a true cinema camera and photo or stills camera, totally different menu systems, which I think is great. They're all doing different things, but I just hope we continue to win here and we just get better AF, because what's the next thing? There's some rumors about built-in variable ND and mirrorless camera bodies that are smaller. We'll see if that happens, but that would be kind of like, What?
Yeah, I talked to Sony. I was at the condo trip when they released the A7C2.
Yeah.
And what's cool is they brought over a lot of their engineers from Japan. And so I talked to the Alpha team and several guys from the FX team, engineers from the FX team. And I just hounded the four things. ND. Well, they brought up ND. They were like, oh, you want ND, right? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
But external SSD recording over USB-C.
Yep.
Open gate and shutter angles.
Yep.
If they can do that, essentially whatever Panasonic has that they don't. If they have that, then they're already killing it. But if they have those things, it's out of control.
Yeah, but if they put that
Sony because that's what they've always done.
Yeah,
they've always this has always been Sony's thing, and they would always, whatever they'd got the capability to do, they would just release it into cameras instantly, which is why we had this conversation years ago, was why I left Canon, because it was just all the bells and whistles, all this amazing stuff that we were getting with Sony, but the color science was fucking horrible, and the amount of extra work that working with that system involved at that time was huge. Whereas Canon, it was minor tweaks. The colors that were coming out of the camera were great from the off. Obviously, that's all changed now. Sony's color science is lovely on across the board. From low end stuff to obviously the high end stuff, and it's very easy to deal with, which has been the big change. But they've always been like that. They've always been, let's just can we fix these things? Can we get these new things in it? And it's just thrown it into camera straight away. So as soon as that stuff that they're capable of doing it, and they're the ones that are going to do it because they've got that variable ND on their electronic.
Started with the FS5. Yeah, it started on the FS5, and then I know.
That's the system that's going to fit into a mirrorless system.
Because
they've on a wheel moving physical filters around. That isn't going to work. So
they set the precedent already.
They're going to do it.
The FX3 and FX30 body, which is essentially the same body, is the basis, and we've all accepted with the R5C and those cameras that there's going to be a fan in the back, and if all they have to do is bump the front of that body out just a little bit in order to have a variable ND, nobody's going to complain about that. Nobody's going to give a dang if they make it just slightly bigger, as long as it has a good grip. But
you can't. Because then you're into the physics of the lenses. and your flange distances and all of that stuff. So that becomes sort of slightly more.
Yeah, but they did it in the FS5 and FS7 series, so they've got to figure out. They've just got to figure out. There's physics there in terms of how much they have to bump, and I'm sure they have to sort it out. But if they're saying to Caleb, "You want this feature," they've already figured out the solution. They're not asking that question. No. Yeah.
They've done it, but this whole thing, like, what I was meaning was that you can't be just sort of making the camera body bigger at the front because.
Right.
No, it's not just that.
Agreed. You can't.
No, the body has to change, but it does. I don't think it has to change as much as we think. And
I think it's honestly, I think it's way easier than what anyone thinks. The problem is cost.
Yeah.
Like there's probably a cost in there that bumps up the price of everything. And if they can get the cost down, I wouldn't be surprised if they already have. They definitely probably have a roadmap with like FX3 Mark II coming 2024, 2025. And it's already got it, and then it's ridiculous. Like, I'll delete my channel. There's no reason to keep.
You'll
doing
delete
this.
your channel. You're insane.
I won't, but
no.
It's that'll be like. Can you imagine? It's good now, but like if we all have built-in ND, forget it.
Yeah, but and what's amazing is that we're only a few items on the checklist away. And we've been talking about this stuff for a decade, and the list was a heck of a lot longer than it is now. That's for sure.
Yeah, but ND's 32-bit. And there's that's it.
Yeah. Which again is the big thing going into cameras in the 32-bit float within cameras is that's coming soon for sure. But the other thing that it just occurred to me in terms of that ND thing, and in terms of mirrorless cameras and having that. The only reason why I haven't bought a single RF lens yet is because I don't like having ND on the front of the lens. I don't like the way it flares, and I like natural flaring of stuff, and just the way. And having that, the EF lenses with the adapter with the ND in it solves that issue. So as soon as that's in, they've then got thousands of pounds off me for a new set of lenses, because I'll go down that route straight away, because there's so many advantages to having it. So that, I mean, obviously that's Canon, and that's not a thing with Sony right now, but it's got to be coming, because it's going to make them money. And there's so many people I talk to that are in the same boat as me that are sticking with EF purely for that reason.
Well, I mean, Canon has done it with the C70.
Yes.
And that is RF mount, and that is ND built in. It's not the electronic, but it's not full. You got a booster and a blah, and then when you get the booster, then you're into a different type of lens. So it is 100% not all worked out. Yeah, exactly. But they will get there as well. And the C70's been on the market for quite a while. I think 2024 is going to be a really interesting year for the digital cinema camera market, because we haven't seen a lot of motion in a while in that space. What we're seeing in that $5,000 to $10,000 space has been what's been in the space for a long time. So I'm excited about this Sony announcement to see where that falls, and then to see what 2024 holds. Maybe, we'll see. All right, kids.
Very interesting.
Here we are. Ben needs to go to bed. Caleb needs to go home. Mm-hmm. I need to shoot an episode of the Daily Drop. I apologize to everybody in the chat, mainly because it's been so long since the three of us have caught up that we just had to get our gearhead kind of talking.
Because you said like 6 times, let's talk to the chat.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And, here we are.
And we just keep chatting about this.
I know we're over, but where is it? Brandon, I think, said it, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Something about like eBay challenge. When we were looking at some eBay stuff, that could be interesting.
I think it could be,
and it has to be like a used, and let's say cinema camera. No more mirrorless silliness. No more EOS M's gem. Or whatever you used to
M50s, the M50.
M50s. Yeah. No M50s, 64 M50s.
Has to be a true digital cinema camera. Why, you want to do it next month, or you want to do it in 2 months?
Yeah, you got to shoot a feature film, and but you're going to buy used, so you can get more money for talent.
And is it just camera system and glass, or is it you've got to like have a kit to shoot like a small
No lights,
feature?
maybe just I don't know. We can flush it out. Whatever. What do we think? Like camera, lens, media, audio.
Yeah.
Do we do audio? Do we just do DP or camera op stuff?
No, I think they should just do camera. I think
camera, lens, everything to operate a camera. Yeah, and have a set of lenses or something.
But camera support has to be in there too?
No. Well, okay. I don't know. No. That's kind of a... No, camera. Pelican case with your camera lenses, media.
Media, Gem. Media. That's got to be in there.
How much would you like this challenge to be? What's the budget-wise? What's the total? Yeah, budget-wise.
Should we do
20
15? Grand?
I was thinking 20 was my original.
Because then you can have
what
some,
do you say?
Do you go like garbage camera, cinema
this is
prime,
eBay.
Or
this is an eBay challenge. Yeah, we're not going to B&H used.
Oh,
it's eBay challenge.
Okay.
All
right. So hang on. So if we're doing eBay, how are we? So are we going to go on that it can either be buy it nows or that it's on completed listings? It has to be one of those two, because otherwise it can't be live listings. Because
buy it now, or sold. That's the ticket. Sold. Because completed is not
sold
just
listings.
Yeah,
you're right. So sold listings that have completed within the last 6 months.
Let's say 30 days from today.
And it has to be Netflix. It has to be Netflix. Has to be Netflix approved.
Oh, it
just
does.
to throw another.
Interesting. Okay. Netflix approved. 30 days forward or back from today.
Yeah. It cannot be a mirrorless camera in the traditional sense. So it's not like you're finding a used FX3.
Netflix. Well, whatever's Netflix approved, right? I don't know what's on that list.
Oh, okay. No. Well, FX30 is, I think,
said
now.
Netflix. Okay.
No, but I'm saying I think we're doing like a cinema camera.
Okay.
Right? A big boy camera.
I mean, let's say Netflix is like, hey, we just bought this franchise. We want you to film a feature film using our Netflix approved. I think that's. I have no idea what's on the Netflix approved list, but.
And it's quite a wide range of stuff, but also you've got to bear in mind that whatever you turn up with on set on day one, you're not going to get laughed off set.
Okay.
Can somebody send me an email about this at contact@thec47.com, and then I will
spec.
Yes, first Wednesday of October, and I'll put that up there, and it'll be a challenge. Anybody can participate, and if you send it to me, Caleb, I'll put it up in the next few days, so it's just there.
Perfect.
I'm trying to schedule everything way ahead now, and then we go from there. Great.
Perfect. eBay challenge.
I like it.
Exciting.
All right, I'm in.
Brandon,
we got one.
I smell an eBay challenge? Thank you, Brandon.
You did.
Great idea.
Yes.
Great idea.
You did. I'm going to press the finish button on the Stream Deck here and see if it works. It probably won't, judging by everything that's happened today. So then I'll have to just go ahead and use the mouse to do it. Love you guys. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the the chat. And gentlemen, we'll catch up a little bit more offline. Again, thank you. Any parting words? Any words of wisdom? That's it. See you guys.
Carts.
Later.
I don't know.
Lava cat.